Did you really think the deep state would stop after the Russia hoax failed? I mean, seriously, think again, because the same people who framed President Trump with fake dossiers and rigged investigations are back. And this time they have gone nuclear. Now, what if I told you that the so-called Iran war threat that they're blasting all over the headlines right now was never just about Iran at all? What if it's just a perfect smokescreen designed to push America to the brink of war and push President Trump out for good? Well, new leaks, buried files, and some brave insiders are now exposing how Brennan, Comey, and their hidden allies turned a real threat into a staged crisis, a crisis they hoped would trap Trump, sabotage his presidency, and scare you into silence. So I'm going to go ahead and break down exactly how this operation was built step by step, how the same fake tactics used to frame Trump with Russia have been recycled to frame him for war this time, and how President Trump's team is outsmarting them at every turn. Now, of course, they want you to feel helpless. They want you to believe that we're standing on the edge of World War III because of Trump. But the truth is about to flip their narrative upside down. And you're going to see the receipts, the sabotage, and the real plan these deep state cowards don't want you to see. Now, let me know real quick, guys. Do you really believe that we're standing on the edge of World War III because of Trump? Let me know, yes or no. All right, so also drop me a comment down below. Expose them if you are ready to see this entire betrayal unravel, and stick to the end, because what I'm about to reveal next, this is going to make you see the Iran threat in a way the mainstream media never will. All right. They thought that they could frame him once and get away with it. But this time, President Trump's not just fighting back. He is showing all of us how deep the rabbit hole really goes. So let's go ahead and start off with what they don't want you to connect. OK, Iran's so-called nuclear threat and the old Russia hoax playbook that never really died. OK. So, by the way, if you appreciate the daily news updates, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for your support, guys. So let's start with what the media will not say out loud. Right now, the headlines are screaming that Iran is threatening to strike the U.S. mainland. They want you to picture explosions, terror cells, mushroom clouds, and they want you to feel like we're one step away from total war, like from World War III. But here's what they will not tell you. President Trump has already seen this play before, and so have we, because this is not just a foreign threat. It's a domestic betrayal hiding in plain sight. And the fingerprints lead right back to the same old insiders who tried to frame Trump as a Russian agent. Now, think about this, guys. They couldn't remove him with a fake dossier. They couldn't remove him with a rigged investigation. So what do they do when they can't beat a president who puts America first? Well, you try to drown him in a crisis big enough to scare the country into turning on him, right? So this is exactly what we're seeing right now unfold. A carefully staged war scare, pumped through the same intelligence networks and amplified by the same media stooges who lied about Russia for years. And we're not even scratching the surface yet, guys, because what you're about to see next actually proves this Iran threat isn't what it seems. Okay, so keep watching, because in just a minute, I want to show you guys why Iran's latest ultimatum is more than just tough talk. It's a giant, huge, humongous trigger planted by the same people who tried to bury Trump before. So here's the big headline you've probably seen. Iran told the United States to choose peace or war. Sounds like a simple threat, right? But look closer. Iran's top officials are bragging that they still have 60% enriched uranium locked inside of their nuclear sites. They're flexing that they didn't remove it. Even after strikes hit those sites weeks ago. Now, pause and think about this for a second. Why would they want to brag about that? Why wave that red flag in front of the world right when President Trump has made it crystal clear he wants peace through strength, not some endless Middle East war? And it gets worse. Iran is still working on ICBMs. These are the intercontinental ballistic missiles. But here's the truth about this, right? They don't need ICBMs to strike Israel. They don't need ICBMs to scare their neighbors. So why build missiles that can cross oceans? Because the real audience for this particular threat here is not Israel. It's us. it's the United States. Okay. So the same people who fed the media the Russia hoax are now feeding them a war ultimatum. They want Americans to see Trump cornered, drag us into another fight, or maybe even be called weak. But the trap won't work this time because Trump knows exactly what he's up against and exactly who's pulling the strings behind that choice. Now, too many good people end up fighting Medicare alone. Forms, fine print, call centers that never call back. This is exactly why I chose to stand with Chapter. You don't fight alone anymore. Paulette Niener, she knows this firsthand. She said in a previous comment, she said, they handled my son's Medicare nightmare after a year of confusion. They found a plan that fit him. What a blessing. Highly recommend to anyone lost in this mess. Wow. That is a powerful comment and testimony. I appreciate that, Paulette. Amy Best sums it up pretty simply. She just said, hey, Ron, I called Chapter. Thank you so much. That's all she said. I'm assuming that worked out pretty well for her. She didn't leave me any more details than that, but I feel the vibes. I feel the energy. Anyway, give her friends at Chapter a call right now. See how much money you or your parents or your grandparents could save with Chapter. Phone number is down below, 909-563-8279, or hit them up on their website at askchapter.org/Ron. So let's talk about what almost nobody in mainstream media will ever say out loud. Iran didn't just threaten America in some vague way. They threatened President Trump directly. They went on air, an advisor for the Ayatollah himself, and said Trump can't even sunbathe at Mar-a-Lago because a micro drone might strike him while he's lying there. Now, I want you to pause and think about how insane that is. A foreign regime openly threatening to kill the sitting president of the United States on American soil. Now, ask yourself this. Who actually benefits when millions of Americans are fed that image? The president in the crosshairs, helpless, hunted, forced to bunker down? I mean, you think Iran alone came up with that particular type of messaging? Or did they have a little help? Maybe the same old anonymous intel leaks, the same spin masters whispering to big media outlets, the same convenient sources say, lines you heard when they were selling the Russia hoax. And so here's the piece they don't want you to remember. President Trump, he brushed it off. He laughed about it. He knows that these are nothing more than scare tactics. But don't get it twisted. His security teams do not. They took this seriously because they know what the deep state is capable of when they want power back in their hands. And if you think that an open threat of assassination is where it ends, well, wait until you see how it connects back to the same swamp snakes. The same swamp snakes who kicked this off years ago, because the fingerprints on this particular threat, they match the same fingerprints that we saw on the phony dossier, the wiretaps, the spying that tried to bury Trump the first time. Let's go ahead and break this down. And let's also put Brennan and Comey's dirty playbook under the spotlight, under the microscope right now, okay? Here's where it comes full circle, because this isn't the first time that President Trump has been targeted by people inside the system using fake foreign threats as cover. Jarrett, his last name is Jarrett, Gregg Jarrett, he laid it out clear as day. Brennan and Comey knew the Steele dossier was a lie. They knew it was bought and paid for by Hillary's people. How many of you guys believe that Hillary was behind that whole scheme? They knew it wouldn't hold up for 5 minutes in court. So what did they do? They stuffed it right into the official intelligence community assessment. This is the same type of big, shiny report that the media still quotes every time they want to push a new crisis. They turned gossip into classified. They turned rumor into fact. They fed it to judges. They spied on Trump's campaign. They lied to Congress. They rigged the headlines. And now here we are again. Brennan and his deep state pals couldn't beat Trump in 2016. Y'all remember that, right? They couldn't kill his presidency with Russia collusion. So now it's the same old blueprint with a scary new headline, World War III. Guys, they want you to think Trump is reckless, out of control, dragging America into some kind of a chaos. They want the public begging for someone, anybody, to come in and restore order. And guess who they want to do that? Guess who they want that to be? They don't want it to be Trump, I tell you that. But here is the problem for them. This time, Trump's team knows exactly how they staged it the last time. They got the documents, the whistleblowers, and a country that's finally wide awake. Drop an awake down below if you're paying attention now and you're not going to fall for it again, okay? And if you think that the lies end here, wait until you hear how they're using the sleeper cell scare to crank up fear and corner Trump's every move. All right, so here's the next layer that nobody's connecting the dots together for you, okay? So while the headlines are pumping out fear about Iran's nuclear sites and ballistic missiles, they slip in another chilling line. Iranian sleeper cells could already be inside America, hiding in plain sight. Terror experts went on TV saying that they could strike rural towns, they could blend in, they could be activated anytime. I would say that that's pretty scary stuff, right? But here's a question you're not supposed to ask. Is this threat real? Is this a real threat, or is this another deep state lever to scare you into demanding more wars and less freedom? Because this is what they do. I mean, here's what the legacy media will not mention. Under President Trump, ICE teams and real national security agents are already rounding up threats. They're cleaning up sleeper cells. They're tracking foreign infiltrators, and they're doing it without turning the whole country into some kind of a permanent war zone. Why? Because Trump understands the difference between real threats and fake stories designed to keep Americans terrified and easy to control. And let's not even forget the same folks who cooked up the fake Russia spy narrative. They're now whispering about hidden terror cells, all while pretending that they're the only ones who can save us if we just give them total power again. So I want you to ask yourself, who's really behind these leaks about these hidden cells, right? And why do they always show up right when President Trump gains some momentum and America steps away from the endless conflict? Anybody ever think about that? But if you think that the fear machine stops there, you're going to want to hear what I break down next, because I'm about to show you the deep state's real end game for staging all this chaos and exactly how they're planning to drag Trump down with it if we let them. So let's go ahead and connect the final dots here. Why stage a foreign threat in the first place? Why pump out daily panic about nukes and sleeper cells? Well, I think it's simple. If the last play that they have to weaken President Trump's leadership and trap him into a no-win scenario, well, this would be the perfect method. Remember, the Russia hoax already failed. The impeachment failed. The fake dossiers failed. The swamp is out of ammo. Unless they can corner Trump with a real or manufactured crisis that's so massive that he can't walk away clean. Now, if Trump pushes back hard on Iran, they're going to scream, hey, he's starting World War III, right? Now, if Trump tries to negotiate peace through strength, they scream, he's soft on terror. He's a traitor. It sounds familiar, right? They make it impossible to win. It's exactly how they spun Russia collusion. He was too friendly with Putin. He was a puppet. He was compromised. All projection, all lies. Gregg Jarrett, he exposed this blueprint step by step. Brennan and Comey, they knew how to fabricate a threat. They just needed a scary enough headline to sell it. This time it's Iran. Next time it's going to be something else. But the plan never changes. Keep America on edge. Keep fear on the front page. Keep the deep state's power intact, no matter how many wars they have to bait you into. But here's what they didn't count on. President Trump and his team learned from every fake plot they tried. They know the signs. They know the leaks. And this time, they were ready to expose every piece of it. Now, if you're still wondering to yourself, could the deep state really fake or hide something this big? I want you to just look at what we learned about the CIA's own secrets. Not that long ago, the CIA finally admitted that they were tracking Lee Harvey Oswald before he assassinated President Kennedy. For 6 decades, they told the public that they were not watching him. For 6 decades, they denied what whistleblowers inside the agency knew full well, that they did have eyes on Oswald when he essentially defected to the Soviet Union, married a Russian woman, came back, and essentially made contact with communist embassies just weeks before the killing. And so for 6 decades, they buried the truth, not because they planned the assassination, but because they knew the truth made them look incompetent at best, or perhaps complicit at worst. So what does this have to do with Iran's staged threat today? Everything, guys. It proves this is not new. The same CIA layers that hid their failures from the Kennedy era, the same type of bureaucrats who let Brennan force a fake dossier into national security reports, these are the same circles that think that they alone get to pick which secrets you deserve to know about. President Trump knows it. This is why he's been pushing for transparency at every level. He knows sunlight is the deep state's kryptonite. They thrive on secrecy. They die in the daylight. They're like vampires or something. Anyway, but here's the best part here. It's time. Trump is not playing defense this time. Okay, guys, he is not covering behind lawyers and hoping for the best. He is leading from the front. So you see, while the old swamp networks and leaks fear headlines and spins up all these different doomsday chatter plots, President Trump and his team are moving with a plan. Trump is he's not about knee-jerk wars. He's about maximum pressure diplomacy, clear lines, clear strength, and no apologies for protecting America's people first. So while deep state insiders want an endless cycle of fear, Trump's administration is tightening real security. ICE is out there rooting out real threats, not playing politics. Homeland Security is locking down the real sleeper cells, not using them for headlines. And on the global stage, Trump's making it crystal clear. America will not be blackmailed by any foreign regime or by the bureaucrats who once sold out this country for their own power. So when Iran says choose war or peace, Trump's answer is simple. We choose American safety. We choose American strength. And we choose to expose every hidden hand that profits off fake fear and endless conflict. This is why the swamp fears him. This is why the swamp essentially runs the same dirt script over and over and over, because a president who can't be controlled terrifies the people who once controlled everything. You see? And this is, if you think that this new leadership stops at Trump, think again, because there's an entire new team that's standing behind him who are just as ready to drain what's left of the old guard's corruption. So here's something that the mainstream spin machine really hates to admit. President Trump isn't fighting this fight alone anymore. The same FBI rank and file who watched Jim Comey tear down the Bureau's credibility, they're the ones quietly cheering today's new leadership. Why? Because now they finally have real leaders who are not afraid to clean house. Leaders who believe in law, evidence, and real justice, not cooked up spy games and partisan leaks. Folks, we have people in here like Kash Patel, who stepped in as FBI director, someone who knows the Russia hoax from the inside because he helped to unravel it piece by piece himself. He knows how deep state buried secrets and manipulated evidence, and he's not about to let it happen again. Or how about Dan Bongino, the deputy director who's been warning for years that the CIA and the FBI's top brass were hijacked by political hacks like Comey and Brennan. Now he's in a seat of real power. He's using it to flush out exactly who turned our top law enforcement agency into a political smear machine. So Dan Bongino is on top of that. And then, of course, you have Attorney General Pam Bondi, a fighter who's made it very clear that the days of protecting crooked insiders are over. No more double standards, no more excuses. So this is the team President Trump has backing him right now. Smart, battle-tested, unafraid to tear out the roots of the swamp. And don't even think for a second that the old guard doesn't know it. This is why they're desperate for distractions, to drag this entire country into chaos and crisis after crisis, just to try to slow down Trump's wrecking ball. Now, speaking of distractions, you're going to see exactly how the deep state spins Russia every time that they want you to look away from what they're really doing. And they're going to do it again. So let's go ahead and break that part right down. So here's a pattern that you've seen before. And raise your hand if you've seen this pattern before, okay? The moment Trump starts exposing the swamp's dirty fingerprints, all of a sudden Russia's back in the headlines. Watch the pattern. We just watched it happen again. As the Iran war scare explodes, headlines quietly drop stories about Russia's biggest attack yet in the Ukraine, the largest strike since the war began. Do you think that timing is just bad luck? Or do you maybe think that maybe, just maybe, the same media and inside circles who pumped the Russia hoax for like 4 years know exactly how to keep fear bouncing from one crisis to the next? Then they think if they throw you enough chaos, you're not going to notice who's actually causing it. Or worse, they hope you'll just blame Trump for the mess that they made, right? This is the pattern. But here's the thing. President Trump doesn't flinch. He's proven it time and time again. He can stand toe to toe with Putin, call out bad behavior without selling out America's people to secret deals or some phony peace pacts that tie our hands. This is the power that they fear. A president who can face down dictators abroad and traitors at home at the same time and still put America first. And so if you think that this is just about Trump, think again, guys, because what's really at stake here is not just one man's presidency. It is the deep state's entire playbook for controlling you. So here's what this is really about. And this is why they're pulling out every trick in the book to keep you terrified. It was never just about Russia. It was never just about Iran. It was never just about Trump. It was about the deep state's ultimate fear that you, the American people, might finally see exactly how they've rigged the game for decades. Endless conflicts, hidden spy ops, fake leaks, secret courts, covert sabotage, and always the same result: more fear, more power for them, and less freedom for you. Now, guys, they know if Trump tears the mask off again and proves how this so-called Iran threat was twisted into a trap to try and corner him and frame him, then every other cover-up that they ever ran starts to crack open too. They're terrified that you're going to realize that they need these threats. They need the fear, because when Americans stand calm and informed and united behind a president who won't play their rigged game, the deep state loses everything. The deep state loses everything that it built behind the shadows. And you better believe that they're going to spend every last drop of taxpayer money, energy, and effort and media propaganda to stop that from happening. But here's the good news. It's not working. Trump beat their hoaxes before. He's beating their staged fear plays right now. And this time, he's not doing it alone. He's got a team who's not going to bow down to fake dossiers, fake threats, or fake war drums. He's got you, because once you see how they stage it, they can't sell you the fear again because you understand their plan. Once you see how profits from every missile headline, every anonymous source, every breathless TV panic piece, you're free from it. So here's my call to you. Stay sharp, stay loud, stay with the truth, and ask yourself this. Who really gains if Americans are scared back into endless wars? Not Trump, not you, not your family. President Trump is fighting to keep this country strong, secure, prosperous, and free from the swamp's blackmail machine. But he needs Americans who see through the fog, Americans who remember that fear only works when we forget who we are. Now, if you stand with the truth, I want you to drop a no fear in the comments right now. If you stand with Trump's fight to tear out this corruption, hit the like button. Oh, and before we go, YouTube thinks you're going to love this video that just popped up here. Click it now. Keep the truth rolling. Stay informed. Keep fighting back with us. Guys, they staged the fear to take him out, but they forgot one thing. You can't take out a president who fights for the people when the people refuse to kneel down. I'll see you guys on the next video. Be safe.